Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Cove. I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
And we are going to talk about, your red shirt in Star Trek.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll last a little bit longer than those red shirts. Long enough to get through these comics.
Good.
That's fine. Then I can go join an away team and get killed.
We don't want you killed, though.
I know, but it seems to happen.
Well, maybe you go on a away team and you can get, scan new planets for minerals.
Yeah. Or I'll get promoted to chief engineer and then not get the axe. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Well, in this episode of Comic Book Cove, we're going to discuss the following titles. All-Star Batman #1, Deathstroke Rebirth #1, Red Hood and the Outlaws #1, Detective Comics #938, Wonder Woman #3, and Wonder Woman #4. And needless to say, as always, spoilers ahead. All-Star Batman #1, My Own Worst Enemy Part 1, and The Cursed Wheel Part 1. Harvey Dent has asked Batman that if his Two-Face persona comes again, to take him to a house that will burn Two-Face out of him once and for all. Two-Face persona emerges, bombarding Gotham with acid rain. He is eventually stopped by Batman with help from Duke, Gordon, and some Gotham underworld figures. While in transit to the house, Two-Face has a message played saying, "If I am taken to the house, I will release all the information I have on everyone on the dark web. And if I am rescued and Batman is killed, I will make that person rich." Batman's plane is shot down and then is pursued by classic minor Batman villains. Batman eludes capture and pursuit and restarts the journey with Two-Face in a semi-truck. It is revealed that Alfred may have shot the Batplane out of the sky.
Well, that was a pretty straightforward take on a very confusing comic to make it through.
Yes. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like this comic. Something about it, I just don't know what it was, but didn't grab me.
Yeah, it was quite a wild ride with a lot of flashbacks, a lot of non-sequential storytelling. I mean, I liked it. It was cool. I mean, it's another Batman comic. It would take a lot for me to not like a Batman comic, but I think the biggest thing is, we have Two-Face again. And it's to me, it was kind of a different take on Two-Face. I mean, he's not just flipping coins and committing crimes around the #2, which is fine for a while, but it gets old. Now he's almost more of a professional blackmailer.
Yes,
on everyone.
Noticed that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But
information broker, definitely.
Yeah, it's a nice change for him, and he sort of wants to corrupt everyone.
Yeah.
To sort of bring out the dark side in everyone. He mentions that that's the side everyone hides from Batman, and that's what he wants to bring out in everyone.
Well, what is the gain to bring out everyone's dark side and all the secrets?
I would kind of assume it would just be sort of for a chaotic end goal. I mean, I got some vibes from The Dark Knight in this.
We got that old series way back in the early...
I was thinking the film.
The film?
Knight.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar to... I mean, the Joker takes out sort of the hit on the guy who figures out who that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yes.
It's sort of a similar Joker to this version of Two-Face I found, to sort of cause chaos and wreak havoc.
Well, there was also, when he took the hit out on Batman, that was something a little bit different of take it out, I'll make you rich and everything. And then everyone started pursuing Batman, including some villains that you normally don't see too much.
Yeah,
you brought that up earlier.
I was very happy to see Killer Moth and Firefly and especially Black Spider come back. And that was one of the things I kind of liked, was I liked the modernization on them. I mean, I liked Black Spider with sort of the Waldos on his back and the guns. That was pretty cool. But the one thing that really stood out to me is, I mean, they all get their butts kicked by Batman.
Right.
When you're Killer Moth, that always happens. But in that one fight, Batman takes a knife and puts it not just through Killer Moth's little acid spray thing. He puts it through his arm.
Yeah,
I mean, you see the crack in the concrete beneath that. That was just that was way crazier than I expect Batman to be.
Right.
I mean, I get it. He doesn't like these guys, but he doesn't normally put a knife through somebody's arm.
No, no. So what was so different about these people in the situation that he was in that he went a lot more aggressive? Or maybe it's just because it's a different title, even though it's in continuity,
Yeah.
maybe it's kind of a little bit darker than the mainstream Batmans. Maybe that is, or maybe it was the situation of he knew that he had to take care of Two-Face and didn't have time for anyone else.
Yeah. Or maybe the C-list Batman villains haven't unionized yet and gotten Batman to lighten up on them. Who knows?
But that's very true.
Who knows? Who knows? But within, speaking of that hit list, it appears one of the people who may have bought into that is Alfred.
Yeah, I liked that part. That was, wow.
Yeah. Because he doesn't necessarily say it, but at the very end he says, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And it's kind of implied that he might have given out the codes to where Batman's plane was.
I was thinking he actually shot it down himself.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? We didn't really see what shot it down. But that would be. I'm more curious to know what would Alfred do with it. I mean,
Right.
is he just trying to stop that? Is he trying to stop Batman from taking Two-Face? Because Commissioner Gordon was kind of concerned that
Yes.
this was all just a Two-Face plot.
Yep.
This plot to have Dent take Two-Face to a house and then Two-Face will cease to exist at this house.
Right.
Or maybe, does Alfred need money? He can't.
Nah,
He works for the richest guy in the entire world, but
Yeah.
who knows? That'll be interesting.
And what did you think about the continuing development of Duke Thomas?
He looks really cool in that suit, as long as he gets a blasted name at some point. Because I get really tired of calling him Duke, but it was nice because this little bonus story we get
Yes.
shows Duke kind of starting out on the job, and it shows basically Batman's curriculum for him, which is
Yep.
the cursed wheel, which is, he has these color-coded curriculums, one for Nightwing, one for Red Robin, one for Damian, one for Batgirl, and I kind of got the sense Batman wants him to learn all of them, which kind of made me think, is Batman grooming Duke to be his successor at some point?
That's possible.
I mean, because he wants him to sort of encompass everything. And when earlier on, Gordon asks if he can call Duke Robin, if this is the new Robin, and Batman says, "No, I'm trying something different."
Yeah, something better, I believe he says.
Yeah.
That, those were interesting stories. I did like like you said, the color wheel, talking about it. Overall, what was your feeling on this format overall? Because this is like a prestigious 32-page story with the main story and then a side story that still backs up. What was your thoughts on?
It was cool. I like the Romita's artwork. I will say the one thing I did not care for was Commissioner Gordon with a full beard. Whoa, no, you shave that off right now. No, you leave him with the mustache. That was a little wonky to me, but but I liked it. It was different. I was really surprised that this All-Star Batman is still in-universe Batman.
Yes.
It's not an alternate universe Batman like it was pre-Flashpoint, which confused the crap out of me. And it's, so it's yet another Batman title that we have to reconcile with all the other Batman titles.
Put them all
at some
together.
point.
Yes.
But I liked it. I'm curious to see where it goes.
Deathstroke Rebirth #1. Deathstroke Professional Prologue. The issue starts with a flashback of Slade taking his sons camping. One of the sons didn't want to go camping, and he has an argument with his dad and leaves. The son, as he is making too much noise, runs into a tree, awakening a bear. Slade shoots the bear and lectures his son. Wintergreen appears and picks up Slade for an appointment in Korak. In the present day, Slade is on the job. He is hired by Matthew to assassinate a person under his own protection. That person is the Clock King. The Clock King bargains for his life by telling Slade the location of someone close to him, Kenilworth. Deathstroke finds the person who is in prison and is revealed to be Wintergreen. Well, this issue spends a lot of time kind of, I guess, retelling of Slade from being the ultra assassin to his early years to being the like the bully with his two sons? Do you think this is a permanent take?
Yeah, I mean, pre-Flashpoint, Deathstroke had a pretty broken family. I mean, his 3 kids, none of whom really got along with him. I mean, that was more because of his occupation. This one, we see him. I mean, I use the term hyper-masculine because he really wants his kids to, I guess, butch up would be the word. I mean, he wants them to be men, sort of to be like soldiers like him. And I think in that sense, he is sort of pushing him away. So it seems like in this continuity, he's going to have more family problems. And it's probably going to be more his fault rather than his professional life taking a toll on that. Yeah.
One of the things that was also, because we see the flashback and then also the present day, Deathstroke has a different way of solving problems when he starts to more or less rig an election. He had some great, if you want to call it, he had some outreach there. He had some political power, it seems like. He was able to grease the wheels behind the scenes. So not only was he a mercenary, but he was also kind of a hired strategist, if you want to call it.
Oh, yeah. He's way more than just a mercenary or an assassin now. He's more of removing any roadblock they have, even an election for this guy who hired him. He can manipulate it so it looks like a normal voting, normal votes. And here he isn't now, and that seems like that would make him pretty darn powerful.
Yes.
In that, I mean, at least, for a guy without really any huge superpowers, that would be like Batman level at least.
Right. Kind of like a Oliver Queen, where they're dealing with the Ninth Circle in his own little way. He has a lot of powerful pull in the business and political field. So there's a lot more opportunities for him there.
Yeah.
To get not only, so he's not taking out the targets physically, he's taking them out professionally. And that was pretty interesting.
He's taking out targets that he couldn't physically take out.
Right.
Yeah. And that was really interesting. And what I'm most interested in is what is Kenilworth?
Right.
Because the Clock King makes a very big point of saying Kenilworth. And the next thing we know is Slade runs off.
Right. I thought it was a person, but I don't think it's a person.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a person or just a code word or what.
Yeah. And Slade really was, when he ran into finding where the person was, it was end up being Wintergreen. It wasn't what he expected from what we were reading.
Yeah, because that text bubble at the very end, I mean, he says Wintergreen?
Right.
Like he's not expecting to find Wintergreen.
But Wintergreen was expecting for him to finally find him.
Yeah, and he wasn't particularly happy that it took him that long. But
no.
It's sort of the question of, what was Slade looking for? Who was Slade looking for? And then also, what's the relationship going to be like between Slade and Wintergreen now that Wintergreen wasn't particularly happy that he took that long getting to him. It looked like he'd been waiting for him for a while.
One of the things, this issue, I thought it was a very basic in terms of getting back to the roots of Deathstroke, being Deathstroke the Terminator, Deathstroke the hired assassin, Deathstroke the mercenary, was he does have a code that he lives by. Very stringent, because when he found out that the person that he was supposed to kill was under the protection of the person that hired him, it sent up a kind of like his ethical dilemma of, I'm supposed to, if I kill this person, I'm breaking this person's oath, and then I'm breaking this person's oath. And then he also said, too, to the other people of, you have children. When I put on the uniform, my children also died. So was that, I guess, what do you want to call it? Theoretical, or was it really, did that happen, or is he just saying that it happened?
Yeah. Deathstroke is one of my favorite DC characters just because he is that complicated. And I loved how when he goes back to that boat and he tells the guys, look, give me all the money in your pockets right now. That's a contract. I will help protect your families from, that Matthew that and I think he walks a very fine line between hero and villain. I think he's one of the closest characters DC has to an anti-hero.
Yes.
I mean, he's not a good guy.
No.
He's a pretty terrible human being, but he does have that complicated ethics of doing that, because he still went after Clock King.
Yep.
I mean, even though he was hired by Matthew and Clock King was under the protection of Matthew, he still went in and did it. So
what do you think we're going to see further along in Deathstroke in the new DC Rebirth universe here?
well, I think a lot of it's going to be whatever this Kenilworth is. I want to see. I mean, is this some grand plan to manipulate him? I mean, could this be some sort of Achilles heel that he has? If it's some sort of like emotional response,
Right.
I mean, is it something exposed that he has that his enemies can use against him, or I mean, what is it? To my knowledge, it's not anything from Deathstroke's past.
Right.
Because I knew Deathstroke's friends and family that they had established in there, and I don't think it's anybody. I mean, unless it's a new character they're introducing. So we'll see.
Yeah, Deathstroke should be pretty interesting in the weeks and months ahead.
Yeah.
And right now, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing Red Hood and the Outlaws #1 and Detective Comics #938. And we'll be right back.